Hello, and welcome back to Factorio. We are in exotic industries, and as you can see, some progress has been made. We have managed to build out and defend our new production module, our satellite village, if you like. We put down defences and artillery, and then that led to some excitement. So let me turn on the... Yeah, you can see how far the range is of this artillery. And it really did clear out a nice area. I did one more round of artillery range, I think. I don't know if I did it last episode or between episodes. Anyway, so we've cleared a really nice big area. The downside of that is that our evolution has reached the point where we're starting to get behemoths. And they chew through our laser defences with our current level of tech. So these lasers here, they will eventually pick them off, but it takes some time. And with them coming in packs, yeah, it's not great. So I've added in some cannon turrets here just to take out the behemoths with a few strikes. I think that's going to help. So this might be our new porous wall design that we put round everywhere. Anyway, I'm not planning to do another artillery shell range for a little while. So the artillery for now will just be picking off, excuse me, will just be picking off new nests as they spawn. What else have I done? I've started the process of paving around the outside of our base. This is gravel from the Dectorio mod. I'm not sold on it. I may decide it was a horrible idea and replace it later. I didn't really install much of Dectorio, so the only things we've got is coal, copper, iron, and stone gravel, and the lawnmower that takes all the doodads out. I think I turned off everything else. Okay, so that's where we are on that. We have completed all of the research, which is pre-Quantum Age. We've just got, well, these quality of life ones, expert crafting, inventory size, and movement, I'm going to leave for now. I'm not going to do any more artillery research, and the swarm safety seems to be up to a point where my bots are not exploding, so that's all good. Then we have these. These look really good. So we've got Advanced Crusher, which gives us a crusher which runs at speed 2. We have the Nano Factory, which gives us an assembler of some sort, the Nano Factory assembler, I guess, which runs at a speed of 2, and I'm assuming has a shed load of module slots. We have neodymium refining, and we have oxygen difluoride production, and a mining productivity and a lab research speed, and energy weapons damage 3. So I think actually I'm going to get rid of all those. We're going to do energy weapons damage 3 first. Okay. And then everything else in alphabetical order. I am leaving off atomic bomb for now. I'm in two minds about whether to leave that on until the very end of the playthrough and do it as our last tech, but I don't know. And then we have advanced fission technology, which is one I would like to do, but I want to do these other ones first. I think also this is gated behind... Yeah, it's gated behind neodymium, so we can't do anything about that. Then we've got new robots. We've got a new tier of modules, so tier 4 modules, which sounds quite awesome. A new tier of belt. And dirty water turned into neodymium. We have quantum computing, which I'm not really quite sure what those are for, but I guess we'll find out. And better inserters. All right. So anyway, we've queued up a bunch of research. Now, what I want to show you is if we just click on this poll and we look at the 1 hour power chart. Let's look at the 10 hour power chart. There we are. Don't know if you can see, but we were topping out at about 800 megawatts. And that was in the middle of our paving the world, building out our factory phase of the game. So, that's all well and good, but it was more than we could reliably produce. And what I had to do was stamp down some emergency nuclear reactors. Now they're all offline now because they've done their job, right? But it was a really big problem during the build. We had some brownouts. We almost got to the point where we couldn't make the nuclear fuel to run the nuclear reactors, which would have been very sad. Anyway, so these nukes are running. You can see they take up quite a lot of space. Each of these units takes up two city blocks. Then there's all this stuff for processing the ores. We've got other nuclear-related processing happening here to handle some side products. It's all a bit of a mess, and I really want to keep this central module for our interesting processes. And I want to shift all the boring processes off into the villages. So for me, personally, nuclear power is not one of the core processes. I wouldn't call it boring, it's quite exciting, but I don't want it to be in my factory. So what I would like to do is relocate all my nuclear production, processing of the ores, processing of the data cards, everything into this module. Now I'm not sure if there is enough space, but if we can turn this into a module which can produce, say, 4 gigawatts or 10 gigawatts or something, just random numbers are plucked out of the sky, then that for me is a result. Because then as our overall factory grows, we can just take another one of these modules, stamp it down, and we'll get power. Okay, so the other thing that's happened is we have unlocked some more nuclear stuff, in particular the high temperature reactor. And what this does apparently is produces far more efficient steam than a nuclear reactor. So the nuclear reactor produces heat from a fuel cell. Then that heat goes down, where is it? Goes down heat pipe, which I don't seem to be able to decide. Yeah, I'm sure I had some heat pipe. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that then travels down heat pipe into something that looks like a boiler, but it's a heat exchanger. Then the heat exchanger takes in water and produces steam, and then that goes into the steam turbines. All well and good. What this does is you feed it with heat from a normal nuclear reactor. That gets it up to temperature. Then you put a fuel cell in and a shed load of water. And then that produces an absolute monster amount of steam. So then you can then put that steam directly into all these guys. Okay? The problem is, this really pushes the fluid mechanics of the game, at least on my initial tryouts, to the absolute limits, and I got quite confused trying to design this. And so I decided that I was going to have a go at designing it in the sandbox. Now, through the playthrough, I've tried not to use a factory planner or a sandbox for anything where I could avoid it. But to be honest, this is one of these things where I don't think I'm going to have a lot of joy designing it in-game, because it involves things like moving around water, tiles, and some of the items we need to make are quite expensive and so on. All right, in between, I've done some other things. This build here wasn't working very well, so it's now bringing in local sulfuric acid directly. Doesn't need to be doing any of this work to be making sulfuric acid within the build. It was, it was clever to have achieved it, but that time is now past, so we'll just clear this up. Okay, we were strapped for hydrofluoric acid. At one point, this was limiting our game because we just couldn't get it into the wafers. And without hydrofluoric acid, the wafers don't work. And without the wafers, we don't get red chips. Without the red chips, everything grinds to a halt. So anyway, this build is fixed. I've also upgraded the machines to green. I'm not sure that's going to help a great deal. That can go. And that can go. Good. That's decluttered this build. I've also had to stick down a bunch of crystal making machines, and I've put tier 3 modules in them. I wanted to make these into beaconed builds, which on the back of an envelope would be both faster and use fewer T3 modules, but I can't afford the power currently, so I haven't done it. That goes for a few other things. I need the power to run the builds. Then we had some issues with these electronic parts builds. Yeah, so it's red circuits at the moment, which is slowing them down. So yeah, at some point we'll need a better red circuit build, and this may be one of those self-contained builds where we go into the factory planner and we work out how to make red chips from raw ingredients and use pipes and belts between local modules to do it. If so, I will probably do that in another satellite village. But anyway, I've witted a lot. What we need to do today, while the techs go through, is go into the sandbox. Let's reset the sandbox. Brilliant. And we will put down a production cell just because this is how things are by default. Okay, so this is the size area we have to work in. I'm not saying this is what we will actually use, but this is what we have to work in. Okay. And we can, because we're in creative, we can just grab the things we want. Good. Some of those. Let's go back in here. I'm going to grab some heat pipe. I'm going to grab some steam turbines. I am going to grab some fuel cells. I'm going to grab some offshore pumps, which obviously are by mining drills. Good. And what else are we going to need? Some pipe. Pipe to ground. I can't see normal pipe here. Okay, I'm a bit confused by that. Straight pipe isn't what I mean, I just mean pipe. Okay. So it looks like I can do it by pulling it off my quick bar. What else are we going to need? We'll need some, probably some power poles. Where do they hide? The power items are substations. They're good. All right. Now I'm just avoiding doing the job. So if I have a high temperature reactor, the unique selling point of it is that you feed it with a shed load of water. Okay, so let's put this down here somewhere. And we'll get the offshore pumps. And by a shed load of water, I think I mean a cubic ton. So this is filling up. But I did some calculations on this, which seemed quite exorbitant. So can we do a rate calculator? Okay, so this isn't telling me fluids. No, it's not telling me how much fluid this requires. It's saying recipe not set. Maybe the recipe can only be set when it is hot enough. Okay, do we have a creative heat source? We have infinity pipes. No, it doesn't look like we do. Okay, so we'll have to make heat the old-fashioned way. Let's get a nuclear power plant, a stack of fuel. Good. And then we'll join the two together with some heat pipe. I know I could have just joined them directly, but I want the visual of the heat pipe. Okay, so this is heating up. And I wonder if the recipe only sets when it's up to temperature. Okay, so this requires 150 megawatts of heat. This produces 200, so it's not quite a one-to-one, of course. Okay, so this is still filling up with water. It's really slow. There's no recipe set here, so let's have a look in the recipe book. So steam. So alright, so steam can be made in a load of ways. But this is the one using a fuel rod. 600,000 units of water produces 600,000 units of steam in 120 seconds. Which is insane. But that is still a lot of water per second, and I think it's many pumps. So that's now filling up faster. And we're nowhere near saturating these pipes. Alright, so this is what I was worried about. Here we go. Okay, so this is running fine, this isn't, and this is definitely not running fine. So yeah, let's pull all this up because I want to come up with a plan which will work. Okay, that's filling up faster. So these are not pumping at full speed, right? This pump isn't doing its pumping. And we need to come up with a plan where we can supply this at full speed with water. So, let's think again. I did notice that there were these things called ducts. So there's T-junction ducts, circles, crosses, non-returns, duct intake, and a duct exhaust. Okay. So that is a duct exhaust. That puts fluids into something. Okay, I don't know if I can connect the duct direct to the... No, I don't think I can. I think it's going to have to be a normal pipe connected. But that's connected there. So then what I'm wondering is there some way to fill a duct intake? So that has 4 slots. Okay, so that would give us 8 slots. Then a duct T-junction. There. Okay. Then it looks like the whole thing needs to be powered. Interesting. So then we could connect up some water pumps here. So these are all running at full speed. Is this running at full speed? I think it is. So can we get... Whoops. Okay. So this duct says it's taking in fluid at half the speed it should be. This says it's putting out speed at 1/10. Okay, so it's pumping at 7,200. And this... Yeah, I think that's it. I think that gets us up to speed. Okay. So that supplies water at the speed we need here. Then I think I'm going to supply these two in the test rig with a belt of fuel. Okay, there should be a widget in here. Okay, so we're going to do this with fuel rods. Is that correct? Oh, that literally is a filter. That's not a making things. All right, can we do it with an infinity chest? Okay, so the infinity chest can have a filter for fuel. Good, and then we can use an inserter. Good. All right. So this should start getting us somewhere. So this now has a recipe. So we can now ask about rates. Yeah. So per second we need 5,000 units of water. And these produce 7,000. 5 of them produce 6,000. 4 of them produce 4,800. We need 4. So we need 5 of these pumps, but I think 6 is good overkill because it overpressures the system. So we're going to go with that. So this produces steam. It doesn't say that it's backed up, and it says that it's under temperature. So what's going on here? This is up to full temperature, 1,000 degrees. This says it is under temperature. Low temperature. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Why is this under? Hello. Sorry for the interlude. I went away and had a cup of tea and went to my greenhouse and watered a plant, and then realised I was using a low capacity heat pipe rather than heat pipe. So once I was using heat pipe, the heat pipe was transferring the heat through nicely, and now this is working. So it was me being stupid, which is, you know, very often the actual problem with these things. So let's figure out what's going on here. So it's got quite a long craft cycle, which gives it plenty of time to fill up with water, I guess. And I want to get some steam here so that we can then see how to process the steam into power, which will probably involve me setting up some power syncing somewhere here. I've also had a bit of a think about how we can better, more neatly do the water pumping, but that's something for once this actually works. Okay, so we're halfway through. I don't think we can speed this up with speed beacons. Let's just double check. So if we go... So this doesn't have a... this says crafting speed of 1. So if I just put these down with some top tier modules in them. Okay, and then that will need a source of liquid nitrogen, which I think we can fake in. There we go. So this has the liquid nitrogen it needs. This still has a crafting speed of 1, yeah, so we can't speed up a nuclear reactor with beacons. Never mind. 97, 98, 99. Steam. Brilliant. So we've got 60k steam. So the question is, how do we consume 60k of steam in... Sorry, 600k of steam. How do we consume that in the 2 minutes we have? Okay, so one option would be basically a line of these. But these consume 60, and we need to consume... Sorry, they consume 60 per second, and this produces 5,000 per second. Okay, so we'd need 90 of them, near enough. And that, I think, is going to be an issue. Okay, so I think again we're going to end up using ducts. And we should start thinking about what 90 turbines looks like. I'm not sure 90 is quite the right number. Let's do it properly with a calculator. I'm going to feed these numbers into a calculator off screen. Okay, so this produces 5,000 per second. I'm a bit confused by this 500. It's 500 degrees. All right. So if I go to my calculator, which is off screen, I'm afraid. Okay, and a single one of these turbines can consume 60. So I'd need 83 turbines, 84 turbines. Okay. Now, if we look at... Sorry, if I come out of creative mode... There we go. If we look at... Oh, that was weird. Do we have an electricity problem? No, we don't. It's just something weird going between modes. Fair enough. One of these. So this is how many turbines? 35. So roughly 3 of these is what we need. And that starts to look like quite a manageable build. Okay. So let's start off by taking all this away down the middle because it's not needed. And we don't need this pipage here. Just really simplify the build down. Okay, so that is 16. So I'd need more than 5 of these. I'm just wondering if we can fit... If we had a duct exhaust here, would that be... Would that be an all right, or would we want more? Why did that not... Of course not, because we're not in the creative. Back into the sandbox, sorry. Alright. So we need 84. So 84 divided by 2 is 42. And then by 2 again is 21. Okay, so this is 8, 16, 24. Okay, so that would be 24, 48, 92, 72. And I need 83. Okay, let's try again. I'm wondering if I should go for rows of 4. How many is that? 32, 64, 96. Just double check because apparently I can't add up. Yeah, it is 96 and I need 84. So 28 times 3 is 84. Okay, so if I lose this row, and this row, that is roughly what we need. Well, I say roughly, but I mean exactly. Okay, and if we run rate calculator over here, how much steam would this consume? 1,680. Okay. And how much does one row of these? Whoop. How much does one row of these consume? 240. So 240 is really easy, right? What we could do is have a duct exhaust like this that feeds 2 rows. Ah, that's a bit annoying, isn't it? All right, so let's take... It's because we have a funny number here. We have a 7. Okay, that would work. So then that would be a ducting solution to get the steam into these. It doesn't solve the problem of how to get the electricity out. Okay, so this does not quite reach. It misses the one in the middle. Okay, so that's getting me back to the idea that what we should be doing is looking at this sort of arrangement. Let's delete that and that. Right, that's 24, which is only 72. But each of these is 8. So we'd need 10 and a bit of these rows. Okay. But just to remind ourselves, we can power this up. Yeah. So we can do it from the sides, I think. So it does get power to all of them. Or that's a bit neater. All right, so let's cut that. Ah, we are 1 tile out on our... Try even further. There and there. Okay, that works. Good. And can we improve the location of this at all? So that... Yes, we can. If we bump this up 2 tiles, it still captures the turbines at the bottom, but it also captures the plumbing at the top. Okay, so how many is this? 32. Okay. So that would be 64, 96, which is excessive for the uranium fuel, but for the thorium fuel, which produces 700,000 steam, I think that is... Oh no, this is ratioed out to 700,000, looking at my calculator. Whereas this produces 500. Yeah, 500,000. All right, so I think that's all right. I think this is overkill, but you know, there's no kill like overkill, is there? And it's only a few over. Maybe we can just trim off a few extras. Okay, so I have 96 and I want to get to 84. So I need to lose 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then is this, that is 84. Job's a good one. I like that. Okay, so I guess what we could do is double it. All right, so the first thing, this needs to have not a cross duct. Let's go back to the ducting. So I would like a curved duct here and here. I would like a T-junction here and here. Then we probably want a T-junction here. Then we want ducting there, there, there and there. That looks right, doesn't it? I'm not sure about the etiquette of using these ductings. I'm not sure to what extent you are supposed to use undergrounds or what, but I think that's absolutely fine. Okay, so if we doubled this, and put it here, does that line up? It does. Result. All right. So then we could double up our uranium widget in the middle. That can go. Don't need that. And we can have a think about the water. All right. Let's delete all of this because it was a learning experience. Good. So if we had a pair of high temperature reactors which went into a... we need a duct intake here. Good, so that takes this steam and puts it into the duct. Then we can do another one here. I wonder if we could put them both into the same duct intake. Like that. That's an option, isn't it? Okay, then if we chew these off, turn them back into T-junctions, this can go away here. It's going to be really interesting when we fire this up to see if it actually runs at full speed. Okay, and then this can become a straight pipe as well. And then we need some duct undergrounds. Same up here. And here. Okay. Then is that correct? Let's just take this, rotate it round. Yeah, it's going to be off by one tile just because of geometry. Good. Then we join that up with a bit of ducting and we put in a T-junction. And if I've done this correct, if we hover over there, yes, the whole thing is joined. Brilliant. Okay, So this should be sufficient. Then what we need is a couple of nuclear reactors. Here and here. I'm going to join them with heat pipe. I know it's not the most efficient option, but it will do. And do I want to connect between them as well? I think so. I think. And then should I connect between these? No, I'm not going to. All right. So that's our steam making. Then this needs inputs of water. All right. So what duct intake? So we'll have, whoops, it's not, it's the duct exhaust. There. Then the duct exhaust will have a duct intake. Good. Then the duct intake will have offshore pumps. And the way I'm going to do this is I am going to do exactly the water that's needed. All right. So I can now put, and that might not be the right way. Let's figure it out. Okay, so that's just 3 pumps, and I need 6 pumps. I could do 4, but again, we're still 1 pump short. Okay, the other option would be to put a T-junction. No, it's a cross, not a T. Where's the T-junction? Okay, then we can put an intake here and here. Okay, looks like I need landfill. Let's try again. So I have an intake here and here. Okay, so then one, two, I want to make this pretty if possible. 3, 4. Does that fit there? Yeah. There's not quite room to fit the... That doesn't fit, and that doesn't fit. Can I put one there? That's a bit close to our build, isn't it? Okay, let's pick all of this up and put down 1 tile of landfill out. Okay, I think there would be room to put that in now. Yep, so that is 6. And we need 5 and a bit. Okay. Let's put the flooring back. I'm going to re-landfill. Okay, I'm going to re-landfill all of this. Which apparently requires more landfill than I had. I want to try and put this back to as near as possible a standard cell. So if I grab our blueprints... Okay. How does that look? I think that looked quite good. Except there may not be room for this below. Let's pull that up. Okay, so there isn't quite room for it. And again, what's going on? The builds aren't symmetric within their boxes, are they? Okay, because of these roboports. Okay, so let's see what happens if we were to turn one of these sideways. Does that fit? Yes, it does. Okay, that might be the solution. So I'm going to take this away. I'm going to cut this and put it down where? Here somewhere. Okay, that's the best I can do, again, because of the roboport placement. Right, let's put one around this way, so it needs to, again, line up. And then can I make it the same spacing? So I need the turbines to touch the back of the build if it's going to be the same spacing. No, they have to be one off the back. Do you see there's one tile here? Whereas here they... yeah. Okay. Well, it seems like however I do it, it's not going to be quite correct. We still have these undergrounds. Good. And if I pick up this, I can repair this. Whoops, sorry. I can repair this. Good. Then this can go down, and we will put in the... there we are. So this needs to go there. We need some conduit to join these two. I think that is centralized. Okay, and here it is with the pumps. So we just need to put down the water fill now for those pumps. Which I think I'm going to try and do as a little pond. Whoops, didn't mean that. So I want to put that tile back. Okay. Is that what we want? Let's check everything actually fits. Okay, this needs to go up one more. Good. And do I want... I think maybe I want rounded corners here. This is definitely an aesthetic choice rather than a functional one, but, you know. Yeah, that looks fine, doesn't it? Let's just finish this off. Okay, so that looks like this is our nuclear build. If I grab this as a blueprint with holding down shift, I should be able to get tiles, which gives me the water. Awesome. I really like that. Then we just need to sort out the fuel. So we need to bring in fuel to both of these, but I think that's a question for a requester chest. Okay, let's move these up one tile, like that. Do I want... I could do it with one requested chest, but the arms would look really annoying. Alright, so then we just need those inserters, and then we need the power stations. Does that reach? It doesn't, does it? Okay, so we're going to have to go side to side. Okay, that doesn't reach either. That does. Alright, so although we are... I think we want to get rid of... Whoops. Good. Because these are processing their fuel literally every 2 minutes. So something that happens every 2 minutes I want to be dealt with by a logistics bot. I don't want to be using a truck with all the fueling overhead. I don't really want to be using a belt with all the infrastructure overhead. So bots are ideal for this. But this is our reactor. And then this leaves us with 1, 2 spare cells for us to do nuclear-related processes. So let's have a look. How many turbines is this in total? 168 turbines. And if this was working, this would be... 500 gigawatts is a lie. I've managed to pick up this creative mod here. Let's try again. If this was running, this is nearly a gigawatt. Just shy of a gigawatt. Which is just under the totality of the rest of our power production. So I call that a good one. Right, we are going to set the requests for these chests. These can be... we don't need 10. I think 1 is sufficient. We're also going to call in all the other fuel rods. Did I click on 2? Why did I click on 2? Alright. Oh, that's the spent. We don't want to call in the spent one. There we go. The plutonium-239 and the thorium-232. And then lastly, what is this? DT mix? Okay, that's something to do with vehicles, I'm assuming. So that's the logistics request. Let's put that down there. Yeah, and then if we wish to, we have 2 production cells where we can do processing of fuels, recycling, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to take a blueprint of this. I am going to take out that creative mode thing. That's a creative mode thing. I am going to add tiles. I'm going to snap to grid. And the grid is going to be 32 by 32. And we will drag the offset to the middle. And create the blueprint. And put it in here. Good. That's one that can go. That's left over. If I now come out of creative, we can go back into blueprints, grab this. And this could be stamped down here, and we would start making power at a ridiculous rate. The only things we haven't done here is some kind of cutoff for when Steam has backed up. But to be honest, right now, that's not on my list of things. So I'm going to stamp this down, and then between episodes, I'll rig up a circuit so that this turns itself off when it has an overflow of steam. But until then, this has been a bit of a ride. I'm sorry if it's become a long episode, but this is an interesting bit of tech. And yeah, there was just no way for me to work out how to build it without building it. So, as I say, I'm going to leave it there. It's been a ride. I will see you again soon. Next time we will have no power issues, and I will be very happy. Till then, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and see you back tomorrow. Bye-bye.